Hello everyone, Namaste. This is Luke Elijah. Thank you for watching this video. Today I have a very special guest with me. She's none other than May Sim, who is the top astrologer here in Singapore. Right? Thank you, May, for taking your precious time away from your busy schedule. This lady, she's so busy that I had to reschedule her 3 times to get this video interview done. Right? She's so in demand. She's the go-to person if you're interested to find out more about astrology. So thank you, May, for being my first guest and acceding my request for this special interview here
Thank
today.
you very much for
inviting me. I would like to. Our guests would like to know, right? Could you perhaps introduce yourself and tell us more about what you do for a living?
Well, I'm an astrologer, okay, and a lot of times I get asked about like what exactly is astrology, and it actually is a sense of time. So you get the sun, you got all the planets going around it. We all know about the Earth going around the sun, but what we don't realize is that it's basically clocking time as it goes along. So what happens is this is the belief that at the time of your birth or time of any event actually, it gives us an idea of it's like a message from the universe if that's so be it. Yeah. So I mean as an astrologer, a lot of what I do is I do consultations. That's the main thing I do. So I also teach astrology.
Okay, could you give us a bit of your background? Like, how did you get started in astrology? What made you get interested enough to study it and to be immersed in it? How long have you been doing it?
Okay, I think I've been doing astrology for what, 10 years?
10 years,
yeah.
wow.
I started when I was a teenager. So it started when the very first time I saw my birth chart for the first time.
Yes.
And like most people, I know my sun sign for sure. And the thing is, I always thought that it was just that sun signs. I'm a Taurus, by the way, and it's just like I never understood why that meant I was the same as another Taurus. Right? It didn't make sense to me, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw the birth chart for the first time, I realized that oh my god, it wasn't just the sun. It's a lot of other things. And I told myself I needed to know what all that stuff meant. And so a long period of study began. In 2012, I started my degree. There are only 3 colleges in the world that give degrees in astrology. I'm attending one of them, IAA. I will graduate sometime this year.
What does IAA stand for?
The International Academy of Astrology.
Wow, that sounds so like Hogwarts school or witchcraft and wizardry, something like that.
It kind of is like that because all my lecturers are astrologers. They are published astrologers who have done research.
Yes.
Yeah, so and I will be the first non-Angmo to graduate from the IAA.
Well, for those of you who don't understand, Angmo means first non-white person, non-Caucasian.
Non-white, non-Caucasian person. Yeah, so that's very exciting for me actually. Yeah, so it's a long period of study. We learn astronomy as well. So it's not just astrology. You have to know the planets, temperatures, how long they take to go one orbit, what kind of angles they form, even the history behind the discovery of planets. Very scientific and very mathematical as well. So that's one of the strange things about this form of spirituality is that it actually is a lot of science involved.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously you're very passionate in what you do and you love what you do. And could you share with us also, like, for this past 10 years, right, how you have grown as a person and how has astrology benefited your spiritual evolution and growth?
I will tell you that the most obvious way in which it has changed me is that you find it very difficult to dislike anybody at all. And you know how when you meet some people and some people gel with you and others don't?
Yes.
Right? And the thing is, in learning astrology and learning about relationships between people, and I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, just any at all, and you start to find that there are ways in which people clash and ways in which people gel. And once I've had them in my consultation room, even if they are not the kinds of people I normally gel with, but you start to see where they come from. What kind of energy drives them, and it's so beautiful the way it comes together, and I see beauty in all
everything.
Planets,
yes,
right? It doesn't matter what kind of issues they may be facing at that time, or even if what they're doing is not what I agree with personally. But I see the beauty in how it all comes together. I find it very, very difficult to dislike people ever since I started going into astrology almost full time.
That's fascinating. Thank you for sharing your background and your lifestyle with us. I guess most of us, and I'm sure the audience and myself included, right? We have there's a lot of misconception and we get confused about what astrology is about because most of us think it's just about our star sign, what's known as star sign or horoscope, and basically what it is all they know is their sun sign, right? But they don't even know that it's called a sun sign. They say, okay, I'm born in July, hence I'm a
Yes.
Cancer, and then and then they don't know much else about it. But there's actually much more to it. It's an ascendant sign, which is the rising sign. It's a moon sign. Could you tell us more? Give us a lowdown on the main signs. They are not actually secondary signs, but just as important as the sun sign.
Yes, they're just as important. Basically, why we call it the sun sign is very simple. You've got the sun and
Yes.
you've got the earth going around it. So now, Luke, you're a Cancer.
Yes, yes.
So it just means that when you say I'm a Cancer, it just means at the time of your birth, the sun happens to be in the direction of Cancer. So you think about the signs as being like almost like compass directions. So I'm Taurus, but when I was born, the sun was in the direction of Taurus.
Yes.
That's all it means.
Yes.
But what happens is that then you also realize the moon orbits Earth.
As
It
well,
doesn't
correct.
orbit the sun, right?
Yes, yes.
So what happens is in the 28 days that the moon takes to go around the sun, it is also clocking the different compass directions. But the moon is very fast because 28 days, right?
Yes.
So Earth takes 365 days to go around the sun. So
Yes.
that's why it takes longer, right? And so the thing is, you may be a Cancer and a sun sign, but your moon sign,
moon sign will be
could
different.
any of the 12 signs,
Ah,
right?
yes.
And you asked also about the ascendant sign.
Ascendant sign.
The ascendant sign is based on the time of your birth.
Yes.
So the Earth is also rotating on its own axis. So where you in Singapore, say you were born in Singapore,
Yes.
where Singapore happens to be pointing,
Yes.
which direction at the time of your birth changes from year to year,
Yes.
from the day of the year and the time of birth. So in the morning it's facing this direction, at night it's facing this direction, for example, or directly opposite.
Yes.
So the ascendant changes according to the time of birth.
Yes, this can I also say that also means that if the person is born at the exact same day as me, we will definitely still have different personalities and
Yes.
different planetary influences because of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, angle degrees change 1 degree every 4 minutes. Right. So if you're born at 1 p.m. and someone's born at 1.04 p.m.,
Yes.
the degree signs are actually different. The degrees are different.
That's fascinating. It's amazing, right?
It's
Yeah.
truly unique.
Yes,
Every
and
chart.
I see astrology is so much more complex and complicated a science than most of us think. Everyone just sees it superficially and just thinks it's just not the sun sign, that's it. And I'm sure the influences of the other planets like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the placement of these at the time they were born has its own energetic implications for us as well, doesn't it?
It does.
Influences us.
I mean, a lot of times it comes in relationships. Like,
Yes.
for example, if I'm talking to you
Yes.
and we can talk for hours and hours, there's usually a planetary description for it. But don't forget, internally, your planets are interacting with each other as well.
Yes.
So it does describe to me the kind of blocks sometimes that people face, or certain kind of ways in which we limit ourselves. And that's why astrological consultations help people to identify these blocks. Identification is the first step. So once you know these are the ways in which we are stopping ourselves from
Yes.
achieving what we want, then we can make conscious decisions to say that, okay, I choose to transcend this. Right? I know this is what is causing it. Let me find a way to get around it.
Yes,
Yeah.
obviously starts with awareness because you need to know what are the blocks and issues first before you can circumvent and work on those problems and issues. All right. Could you also perhaps elaborate a bit on planetary retrogrades? A lot of us have been hearing about Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and it's very confusing,
Yes.
for someone who's not in the know about how it actually influences our daily lives. Could you talk us through?
Okay, the thing about a retrograde is it actually looks like the planet is going backwards.
Yeah.
And that never happens. No planet goes forwards and backwards, right? What happens is that when you have two vehicles that are moving at the same time and one is faster than the other, it's an optical illusion that looks like the slower one is going backwards.
Yes.
Right? So that's exactly what a retrograde is. Right? So it's a planetary illusion. So what happens when a retrograde occurs is that sometimes the energy is unfamiliar. And that's why things like, for example, Mercury retrogrades are always associated with contracts going wrong, or you try to send an email and for some whatever reason it doesn't reach the other person. Maybe there's an internal server error or
Yes,
something
yes.
like that. So it's just energy that's jarring in a sense. But one thing I found in my experience so far is
Yes.
that if you were born with a retrograde in your chart, then the retrograde periods that happen on transit usually go in your favor.
Oh, so it can actually be a positive thing. Because
it can.
most people's impression, at least mine, is always
Yes.
negative. So we're terrified and fearful of retrogrades.
That's because most of us don't have
Yeah.
that particular planet retrograde in your chart.
Yes.
So if you don't have Mercury retrograde in your chart,
Yes.
then Mercury retrogrades tend to coincide with times when your emails go a bit awry.
Yes, yes.
Or you're trying to present something and then somehow the words don't come out right. But if you have a retrograde in your chart, the retrogrades will go in your favor.
But that's a rare occurrence.
It's a rare. It's Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times a year. So I wouldn't call that rare, but they retrograde for about 3 weeks. In fact, about 2.5 weeks, I would say. Yeah. So they do happen fairly regularly.
May, this is the beginning of 2015. Could you perhaps, I'm sure our readers and viewers are interested, could you perhaps present to us a general forecast for this year based on astrology?
Okay. In fact, this is it's an interesting year because when I was looking through the transits when I was preparing for writing for my readers, and there are a couple of squares that might be somewhat challenging this year. So Uranus and Pluto are both traveling in a square. What it means is that as they are going around the sun, they happen to be in a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
So we call this a square. And what happens is that if you happen to have planets on those exact degrees, you tend to find that people will feel stuck. Those who have felt stuck for a while will suddenly make changes. So don't be surprised if people start leaving their jobs. People are leaving their marriages, for example. But nobody does this out of the blue. Usually it is when they have been thinking about change for the longest time.
So this spurs them.
It spurs
gives them
them on.
impetus to actually
Yes.
create to cross the hurdle, so to speak.
Yeah, so
right?
it's to take action.
Yes, to take action.
Yeah, so many people think about something but never do anything
Never do it,
about it.
yeah.
This is the time. when
It's
we
the
do
right
it.
time. So which are the affected horoscopes?
Okay, so because most of us only know our sun signs, so
yes.
do take note that you may have planets, other planets besides the sun there. So just because you're not any of these signs doesn't mean you're not affected.
Yes.
But the sun signs that are affected would be the cardinal signs, also known as Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn.
Yeah.
So these are the signs that will find that they're going to be making changes this year.
So is it fair or right to say that the cardinal signs will find 2015 to be extra challenging for them?
It's a year of change.
It's a real change.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Actually,
if they're
may
ready
not
for
always
it, it's
be
not
bad.
challenging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So some people are in jobs that they really hate, and if this is the year in which you find the guts to just quit and move on, it's a good thing.
So basically, if you're in a job that you dislike or in a relationship that is just sapping your energy away, and you're thinking of leaving your job or your relationship, this is the year for it.
Well, I
Right?
mean, I think that they will find that it comes quite
You find
naturally.
that, okay.
Especially
Yeah.
if they are born, I would say in the early days of the month. So for
Yeah.
example, like for Aries, if you're born in the first 10 days of April, yeah, that's when it affects you most. Yeah. So I mean, the degrees matter. So it's not just the sun sign. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly what degree, and the ones that affected first 10 days of April, first 10 days of July, first 10 days of October, right, and also the first 10 days of January. So those of you who have just celebrated your birthdays, it's a year of change, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add as a forecast for 2015?
Forecasting, well, I mean, another group of people are also the mutable signs.
Yes.
These are the Geminians, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So these signs are likely to, one of the challenges they may feel is that a slight loss of direction, perhaps. One feeling like there's a bit of stress, but on the negative side, this is what we want to avoid, of course. It's the feeling sorry for yourself.
Yes.
How come things are not going my way? And it's a year of a lot of passivity, actually. So one way to get out of it is to realize that your life isn't dependent on that one or two factors.
Yes, you have control.
You have control, you have absolute control, and you can actually make a decision that I don't accept this.
Yes.
I don't accept these limitations. Let me do what I need to do to get out of those limitations. Yeah. So basically, the mutable signs, not as bad as the cardinal ones, but I would say that it's a year of being of direction.
Okay.
Finding your direction.
Okay. Well, May, I'm aware that you also do classes and you conduct private consultations. And could you perhaps share with the viewers what are the projects, ongoing and upcoming courses and projects that you have? Tell us a bit more about the classes that you're conducting.
The most interesting thing that I'm doing right now is I'm collaborating with a travel agent who goes to Bandung. We're actually going to be bringing singles over
Yes.
there, and we're running like workshops about romance, and we're going to be pairing people up for activities and meals. Of course, they will be paired beforehand based on astrological compatibility. So that's
So
quite
singles, if
interesting.
you're
Singles,
looking for
yes.
love and romance, based on compatible zodiac signs, come to me.
Yeah, no, in fact, we're starting with the singles first.
Yes,
and
that's very interesting.
yeah, and
Sure.
once we're done with that, we're going to go for like the couples.
Yeah.
So we're going to take couples away on a retreat, and the idea is, of course, it's different from singles. This time around, we're getting couples to get to know each other better, right? And basically get to know each other's goals and aspirations, and
Yes.
try to find out what kind of new directions they want to take their relationships to. Right? right? So that'll be interesting for a lot of married couples.
Yes.
You know, just bring the romance back into their lives. Yeah. So that's one the most interesting project that I've got lined up this year. I will be involved in HMB, the Heart
Yes.
Mind and Body Festival.
Yes.
You're going to be there as well.
Yes, I'll be there as well. The both of
Yeah.
us will be there with our own
Yeah.
booths, and this happening in May this year.
Yes,
May.
that's right.
Yeah, May.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting as well.
Yes.
So that's usually a great way for us to reconnect back with our community.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, I will be running other workshops that are themed. They're either career themed or relationship themed, for example. So those are ongoing throughout the year.
Nice. So if how would someone who's interested, how would they get in touch with you if they're interested to sign up for one of your classes, or to come for a private consultation with you, or to even enroll for the Bandung Indonesia couples get together? How should they contact you? Where can they find out more?
The best ways to get in touch with me, I think, would be via email.
Yes.
I can be reached at may@astrology.com.
May@astrology.com. I mean, just click at the link below this video.
Of course, I also have a meetup group that's quite active. I also have a Facebook page. So Facebook page is where most of my articles come out. I'm trying to write more this year.
Yes.
And the meetup group is where I post all my events.
Okay.
So the events that are posted there are usually free.
Okay,
So
that's
I like to get people to just join in. Every time there's a new event posted up, you get an email notifying you.
Could you tell us what is the link for the meetup group as well as your Facebook page?
Oh, no problem. Just go to either Meetup or Facebook. Just look for self-astrology. So that would be like astrology, but with self at the front. So I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll add it below this video, but I think that would be the best way to reach you, right?
Yes.
Through email or through the Facebook page, you can get more information.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, May,
Thank you so
for
much. Yeah.
spending time. It was a very good chat, and she's my first guest, and I hope that you guys benefited and learned something from her today. So see you guys in the next video. Okay, thank you, May. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.